the Newspaper Review segment here on Pan-African Television. It's the 18th of May 2021. This morning we're going to be touching on a number of issues here. African heads of state set for Paris summit. Acute shortage of blood leads to death at Ridge Hospital. That's on the front page of the Insight newspaper. Bono East leads with 360 schools under trees. Real Estate Times Africa. Real Estate Times Africa? Interesting. Anyway, IMF disputes government economic performance data again. That's on the front page of Business Analyst. And there's one story on the front page of the Daily Graphic. I don't know why my producer is not picking, but I think it's very important. It says, seal $2 billion leakage. Tax consultant urges over illicit gold trade. I thought that this topic is a very interesting one, which ought to be discussed on the show. So we are going to be touching on that as well here on the morning show. I've been joined in the studios by the Deputy National Women's Organizer for the NDC, Mami Efua Wajeto. Good morning to you. It's been a while.
Kwame, I have missed you so much.
It's been a while, oh. Hey, it's been a while, oh.
And how
went into hibernation? Oh.
I've been monitoring everything. don't you look at your Facebook and see me? You know, it was your mother's birthday. Shout out.
Yes.
It was your wife's birthday.
Yes.
Hey, Amma never invited me for her birthday, and I'm not forgiving her for that. In fact, I'm not forgiving you for that. Your mother's birthday, I gave you a shout out. Amma's birthday, I gave you a shout out.
This one, I can't say anything. I admit guilt.
So you pay, fine.
Yeah, fine. Yes. Anyway, so yeah, we're expecting Sakasalia to join us. That's if he gets here.
He's always late.
He's always late. So yeah. But it certainly is going to be here.
Producer should call him. SOS call.
Yeah. You know, but these are the topics that we're going to be touching on this morning. I want to encourage all of you to share with us what your thoughts are via our WhatsApp number, which is projected on your screens now. And also, we are streaming on Facebook, facebook.com/Pan-African Television. We are on YouTube as well. So be kind enough to share with us your thoughts, but also be measured in the kind of words measured with the kinds of words you use for the messages that you're going to be constructing for us this morning. No insults, no personal attacks. Just speak to the facts and speak to the issues. African heads of state set for Paris summit that has been captured by the Daily Graphic newspaper. I think it's imperative that I share with you a little bit of the story. I saw a picture of Paul Kagame together with Macron on his Instagram page. I believe he is there to attend the African summit. Interesting that African heads of state are rather meeting in Paris. I am surprised. Why couldn't you have met in Ghana or Sierra Leone or Liberia or Botswana or anywhere but France? Anyway, dozen African leaders, several European leaders, and a dozen heads of international organizations were received today by French President Emmanuel Macron for a summit on the revival of the African economy and the impact of the pandemic. It is strange, again, that we're talking about the revival of the African economy in France. How to revive the African economy in Paris. Interesting. Wow. The aim of the summit, the LEC says, is to put in place financial resources capable of reviving the economy of the continent, which has seen only 130,000 deaths from COVID-19, according to official figures, but whose GDP should experience its first recession in 25 years in 2021. Among the participants in person are the leaders of Angola, Burkina Faso, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt, Ethiopia, Ghana, Mali, Mauritania, Mozambique, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, Sudan, Togo, and Tunisia. And on the European side, Italy, Spain, and Portugal, as well as the EU. So the EU bloc was there, but the AU bloc wasn't there. So you still continue to have these fragmented, balkanized African countries going to represent individual countries on the continent to be able to have a conversation. So I mean, clearly, this is what we've been talking about. Mami Fwa, let me hear from you on this subject matter.
First of all, let me say a big good morning to my women constituents. Since I happen to be the National Deputy Women Organizer, my love goes out to the National Women Organizer and my colleague, which is Dr. Hannah Bisu and Abigail Mensah, all the regional women organizers and their deputies. My heart goes out to all the constituency women organizers and their branch women organizers. NDC have the women, and I'm sure that your show testifies, to that.
Absolutely.
You've had all these solid, beautiful women come here to, to deliberate on your morning show. So I say, are you cool to all these women? Yeah, about the African head of states in Paris for their summit. I don't know, but I think that it's quite a sad story, isn't it?
Yeah.
For African head of state, not even in South Africa. South Africa is still Africa, but not even South Africa. Not Uganda. Is that where you went to school?
Rwanda.
Not
Kenya.
Rwanda. Not Kenya. Not Ghana.
Not Mauritius.
A peaceful country like Ghana. But in Paris, wow. And they are going to deliberate on reviving our economy. These are the same colonial masters that take so much from us. Kwame, look at France, what they have taken from the Francophone countries to date. I don't have the figures, but it is unbelievable. They run the economies of the Anglophone countries. They have killed so many head of states who would not go according to their directives, and they massacre African leaders. See what happened to Sankara.
Yeah.
See what happened to other French African head of states. They are the ones not allowing us to progress, and yet we go there, go and wine and dine with them, and discuss how we're going to revive our economy. Right. I don't know whether we want to go forward or go backwards.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. But I mean, to have all these
head of states,
in France, what does it tell you? Is it to suggest to you that, I mean, we've given up, we've thrown our hands in despair, there's no end in sight for the African continent, of coming together and forming, a bloc, just like the EU, a proper working bloc to be able to address our... Why do we need the European Union? Why do we need France to determine how to revive our economy? I don't know if I'm making sense to you. Why do we need it?
Make sense.
Why don't we, like on the continent, find our own solutions to the problems that confront us?
I mean, for me, as you read the story, the first thing that came to my mind is it that all African leaders now are weak leaders? Is it that we are weak, we can't stand on our own? We need all these colonial masters to direct us. Is it that we are so poor, we have nothing to hold, on for ourselves? So we have to go again begging, to all these EU blocs, exactly what is it? These are the people that impoverish you. These are the people that take so much from you. These are the people that want, they have had many policies that ensures that we will forever be poor. And we are going back to them so that they still would enforce their policies on us, that we never move on. Yeah. It is sad, I don't know, but I think that as Africans, we all have to look at our leaders again. We have to ask ourselves that, are we really serious? Do we deserve the leaders that we have today? Because we are trying so hard to fight these people off. We are trying so hard to get them off our backs. And we go back to them, licking their foot and boots, begging them again. And see what they do to us. In Ghana, for instance, how many years haven't we had foreigners, the British, the same EU blocks, taking gold from us? Forever. They've been doing this forever. They've been taking all our natural resources from us. The annoying one is China, even though they are not a part of the E bloc. As for them, they come and ruin you completely with no apologies. You know? So I think that as citizens of Africa, we have to look at our leaders again and really, really ask them questions. Next time we're voting, we must make sure that we are voting for strong leaders. I mean, strong mentally, you know, leaders who can stand on their own, leaders who can fight for their citizens, leaders who can fight for their country's natural resources, leaders who can say it in the face of the white man and say, get off our backs, we can do it. This makes me miss Kwame Nkrumah. He was working so hard to achieve that. Then we have the likes of UGCC and MPP and, you know, all their ancestors come to take him away from us. But I think that as Africans, it's time that we are proud of ourselves. It's time that we retell our stories so that our leaders would know that we do not need handouts anymore.
Right.
Because if they take from us to develop themselves, why can't we also guard what we have to develop ourselves?
Brilliant submission. You're still watching the newspaper review segment here on Pan-African Television with me, Kwame Owusu. So let me again remind you that we're streaming on our Facebook and our YouTube pages. Pan-African Television on Facebook, Pan-African Television on YouTube. We are also active on WhatsApp. So if you want to leave a comment, you can simply do so via our WhatsApp number, which is on your screens at the moment. I'm also on Facebook, Kwame Owusu Danso, Instagram, Kwame Owusu Danso, Twitter, Kwame Owusu Danso. So share with me your thoughts. I'll be more than willing to read them out for you. Now, we're coming back home to discuss a number of issues. Which issues has got to do with what is currently under the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo regime. And we are going to be touching on what is captured on the front page of the Insight newspaper. The Insight newspaper. It's a very worrying story, and anybody who is a true believer in the Ghana agenda should be worried about the current development within the health sector. And we are going to be touching on that. But I just respectfully want to read a little bit of the story in order that we can apprise ourselves with the full facts and be able to deliver and execute professionally. Now, let me just quickly read the first two paragraphs, and then we can, start the conversation. The Greater Accra Regional Hospital, which is popularly referred to as the Ridge Hospital, is in crisis. This is as a result of the acute shortage of blood and at its blood bank, leading to needless and preventable deaths. According to the medical doctor of the hospital, Dr. Emmanuel Sorofenyo, the inadequacy of blood at the facility's blood bank has led to a sharp rise in preventable deaths. Dr. Sorofenyo, in an interview with the media, revealed that the regional hospital is currently overwhelmed with the high demand for blood and has therefore called on the public to voluntarily donate blood to restock the blood bank and save the lives of patients. Then that's an important call, but maybe we can tie in the issue of lack of beds in our ICUs, etc., which saw a 12-year-old young man lose his life by reason of the lack of beds. Yeah, young boy, yeah. Anyway, good morning to you, Saka Salia. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Kwame.
I love your new look. Which girl is taking over your soul like this? That is making you now want to look young.
26 minutes late.
Yes, 26 minutes late. Yes.
26.
In fact, 30 minutes.
Okay, how about you?
Me, I was here before 8.
She was here before me, actually.
Oh, okay. So you were rather late.
I wasn't late.
You, Sakasale. 8 sharp, we were on air.
Mommy, but you have been late. For some time now, we don't see you.
I've been late. What does it mean?
She has been
absent.
Yeah, you've been absent.
Yeah, so speak properly.
You are scared.
You hear them.
Charlie, if you want to test death, sleep make we see.
I tell you.
We sleep continuously for 4 days. If you go see no, no go enjoy.
You said it like I'm a ghost.
Well, figuratively, Saka.
Yeah,
Charlie, we don't get blood though.
oh, let's get some.
So what do we do?
Mommy and Co can donate.
But you can't donate. Is your blood contaminated?
You mean Mommy?
You.
No, I mean it's very clean.
No, it's because you only referred to mommy. I'm wondering if your blood is
Like you said,
contaminated.
we need it.
I said we need to.
Which hospital?
Yeah, anyway.
Only Andakufo.
Yeah.
Only Andakufo.
Mommy, I'll grant you a latitude to express yourself. Yeah, let's hear from Saka Saleh on this matter.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, please, Saka. Yes, proceed.
Good morning to our charity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think that it's an unfortunate event, and this is not the first time. It's not uncommon. I mean, for us to sometimes lack blood in the blood bank, and I think that is quite unfortunate, and that is the reason why it has always been said that people should willingly try to donate blood at all times, so that the blood can save even you yourself when you are in need of it. You know, but the tendency for people to think that, oh, the blood, and of course, some religious groups, they don't want to be donated to, and they themselves will not donate because they feel it's not part of their religious beliefs and all that. I think that is unfortunate. But those of us who believe in the blood donation should be able to donate freely, you know, and you might not know. It could be you. It could be you yourself that will need it because you can have an emergency or an accident that your blood would have drained, and then you will need emergency, blood to survive. Even not even you, your
relative,
your loved one, your relative, your friends, whatever. So we should cultivate that habit of donating blood so that we will not. Because look, if Ridge of all places, I mean, lack blood. Can you imagine some of the other hospitals? It doesn't portend well for us.
I think this is the time we would need Baumia's drones so that we can do nationwide blood donation and it can be transporting the blood from.
Well, I mean, we should not misuse, the.
But where are they though?
I mean, they are there. The drone services is
functioning.
It's functioning very well. It's functioning very well, and it's meant for remote areas that have certain emergencies. I mean, I even remember during the COVID days. I mean, we still are in COVID, but I still remember the peak of COVID. The drones were, on handy, in delivering medical services from one place to the other. So I think that, it's quite unfortunate that we come to, sometimes to talk about the fact that some of these first-class hospitals do not have blood. And if such first-class hospitals do not have blood, I wonder what the others would do, because the others rely on some of these hospitals. And if these hospitals like Ridge do not have blood, I even remember sometimes Kolebu, goes without blood, which is quite unfortunate. And I don't know whether people want to sell the blood. If you want to sell your blood, I don't think that is a good thing to do. But of course, most of the time, anytime you donate blood, they give you certain food items that you can use to replenish the blood that you've donated. So let's cultivate that habit. I've seen some keep fit people. I've seen some people, and most of anytime you donate blood, I mean, the veins are open. You are able to even produce more. So it's not as if.
Have you done that before, though?
Yeah, I've done blood donations.
So you have the card?
I had, but for some time I have not done it. And I think that this admonition will go for all of us. All of us need to, go back to that charity. It will help all of us.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Saka there. Mami, blood. Saka says, Charlie, you have to be involved, though. You have to go and donate blood.
You see, it's interesting when it comes to these issues. Saka says, I have to be involved. Everybody has to be involved. Saka, fix the country. Fix the country.
Also fix the blood.
Fix the country.
And every other thing will work.
And every other thing will work.
People need their time to go and work,
exactly.
not to go and donate blood. Eh?
People need, first of all, to have good jobs, to eat well, to have sound mind, and then volunteer to donate blood. As it is now, we are all miserable, times are hard, the country is tough, we don't have good food to eat, and people do not feel like being patriotic enough to donate blood. Even the small foundations that usually go around, organizing blood donations and all of that, I find it difficult to get sponsors, because you cannot just go with a medical team to a workplace or to a school and say donate blood without giving some incentives.
Absolutely.
Because you're taking from that person.
Absolutely.
So you give them some multivitamins, you give them some Milo, take some beverages to make sure that they are encouraged. Now, companies are not willing to sponsor anybody to do anything. So these are the repercussions. We do not have blood in the blood banks. We don't. If which hospital does not have, Kolebu will not have. Yeah. I mean, when I started having children 23 years ago, there was no blood in Kolebu. And here, today, we're still struggling with blood issues.
You've just given out.
You understand me?
You've just given out your date. your age. Go ahead. You are good mathematicians.
Yes. I know. I want you to know that I am
You've taken care of yourself.
I'm taking care of myself. Nando is trying hard to destroy that, but it won't work, Please, I would like to take this opportunity to tell Ghanaians that yes, times are hard. Ghana is tough. Thanks to Nanado, he's not fixing the country. His priorities are all wrong. But besides that, I would like to beg Ghanaians that those who can afford it, those who are good, are healthy, should donate blood. There are lots of foundations who go around, organizing these. I think that they should be active again and go around, looking for blood so that people will have blood. These are life and death issues. There are people in the hospital, that is all they're looking for. They're looking for blood to survive. They are looking for blood to be humans again. Yeah. They're looking for blood to be able to survive, to take care of their children. Yeah. So we're begging Ghanaians that, yes, times are tough. Nanado has not done well with Ghana. But we have no choice but to move on. Okay.
I mean, I'm coming to you, and I'm sure you would like to also touch on that. I think that he raises some very important points here, to the effect that previously for mothers, maternal, how do they call them? Nursing mothers. So? Maternal mother, how do you call it? Maternal deaths,
so mortality.
So maternal mortalities. It was as a result of hypertension, but now
that is why I raised
it's as a result of obstetric hemorrhage.
I needed blood. Yeah. Sometimes at that point, all you need is blood to survive. Yeah. So it's important.
So that's a very good point you make. Actually,
it's important that we come out and donate. It's very important. Yeah, you donate today, tomorrow.
Someone will actually benefit.
You'll be the beneficiary at the end of the day.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the National Women Organizer of the NDC, I mean, I can understand They are just looking for message so that they can
break the 8.
They can so that they can break the 8. Let's take it so. But I think that it will not work because look now she's
talking about
I'm coming now.
There is no black.
I know. You see now it's like whatever they can clinch on. Let's do it and make the government look unpopular. Now we are doing even black politics.
The truth is that
I don't get it.
What gives you blood? What gives you blood?
The last time I went milk,
protein and all those things.
It is all so expensive.
No problem.
You don't realize it.
No, I realize everything, but you see,
you don't realize things are so difficult.
Yeah.
Even to make contombre.
You see, the last time I had another chat with the NDC, they were doing this contombre politics too. I'm telling you. They
like how you do so.
I don't get it. They came with onion, tomatoes. I mean, I don't get it.
It's a
But on a more serious note,
yes.
I mean, it's true that we need contombre.
Yeah, I mean, I for contombre
to give us blood.
We've always had,
but now we can't buy contombre because it's expensive.
We've been buying contombre and wele and all that. I'm telling you, we'll buy all that. You see, but if you want to do politics, you can do your contemporary politics. But the good person, I mean, the discerning person over there knows that it won't wash.
Kwame, please let me just.
I will allow you. Yeah, please.
I don't know whether you've been to some of the supermarkets lately. I was in Kuala only last weekend, and I was there a month ago. I was surprised. I said, okay, maybe because of COVID, they haven't had the time to, replenish their stock. I was there last week. There's nothing in the supermarkets, not just the Kuala.
Yeah.
There's nothing anywhere anymore. So the few things that we have left are quite expensive.
Absolutely.
Even our local meals are being poisoned now because of galamsey.
It's true.
Our local food are being poisoned because of galamsey. Usually when you are pregnant, they'll say eat fish, eat that because of the bones, because of calcium. Now, there are directives that pregnant women should avoid fish because of the chemicals that people use in galamsey, the cyanide, there's that whole chemical build-up. You understand me? And now we cannot enjoy our organic meals. We cannot enjoy fish. We cannot enjoy regular farming. Even dairy, local dairy is at risk, because if your cattle is chewing grass where you've had all these chemicals spread around and all of that, and the cattle also go and drink water by the rivers. And now all our rivers are poisoned. We have cyanide. We have all unnecessary poisons in our natural environment now. So rivers are poisoned. Our farm foods are poisoned. Our dairies are beginning to be poisoned. So it's a huge matter.
Right.
Yes, the problem is blood. But when you think about the causes, when you think about why things are tough, when you think about what tomorrow would be, it's scary.
Yeah.
Today we are talking about blood. You understand me? But that is the truth. The truth is that we have not, when I say we, the head of state and his government have not managed the economy properly. I'm a Ghanaian, so I can include myself. But the truth is that Akufo-Addo and his government have disappointed us. And that is why we say fix it. The fix it is a serious case. It's a serious case. People don't have jobs. Even when you have the money, you are not sure what to buy because there's nothing.
I was actually going to...
I just wanted to...
I'll give you the opportunity to do that. I just wanted us to also touch on something, but I'll let Saka speak to Saka. You want to touch on something before?
Yeah, just
because Justice Appel, former Supreme Court judge, has been talking about he's been lamenting about the rising corruption cases in Ghana, and tried to look at varied governments we've had over the period and their attempts to deal with the issue of corruption, which only worsens. And I think that we need to just briefly touch on it. But let me just...
Yeah, you see, I thought maybe we are itching slowly into the main topics.
Absolutely.
But it's like Mami just decided to launch straight onto the serious politics. But you see, if you talk about the fact that you go to the malls and you don't get goods and all those things, we know you are more shopper and all that. No problem. But you see, but you see, but I'm coming. No problem.
No.
Can you let me?
I mean, we shall go to Okako.
Yeah. So you see, we all know. I mean that we are not in normal times. Don't pretend as if Nanado should stock the malls for you. For instance, I get it. But for instance, 2 days ago, I was just looking for starch, spray starch, and it's so it's not even in the market. We all know the reasons. You see, there is disruption of the supply chain worldwide. Worldwide because of COVID.
Okay.
Because of COVID, the companies that are manufacturing some of these things are unable to even do their work. They don't. I mean, and that is the reason. Look at even cement. Yeah. It as a result of clinker, because the clinker we have to import, and where you import it from, maybe they are undergoing a lot of stress because of the COVID. There are so many goods like that we are unable to even bring into the country. Yep. So when these things come, and the little that is there for us to buy is becoming expensive. So it cannot be as a result of mismanagement of the economy or whatever reason. Because we are not in normal times, and sometimes when we want to do analysis of some of these things, we should know that at least there are discerning people who know the reality of the situation. Because in terms of inflation, this government has performed better than your government. In terms of inflation, because inflation is the rate at which the prices, increase. And when we took over from the NDC, inflation was hovering around 15.4%.
That's always a problem.
And consistently we were having a single-digit inflation.
People complain about, but what's the inflation now?
I mean, it's around 11%.
So but the point is also that, with the greatest of respect, Mr. Salia, the point is also that Ghanaians are not so concerned about the economic definitions and the jargons and the nomenclatures and things like that. People want to know what the reality is in their pockets. If they feel it, then it means you are doing something for them. But as it stands now, I think you can agree that the Ghanaian people are really going through some economic labyrinth.
Yeah, I mean,
the economic labyrinth has not been resolved. But then we continue to hear from government as though that has been resolved, and that for the good people of Ghana, that's the issue. And also coupled with that, with the grace of respect, I'll allow you to expand. So coupled with that has also got to do with the increment in fuel, for instance, in taxes and prices of goods and services and all of that. That is compounding the problems that are being that the Ghanaian clearly, if you talk about inflation or GDP, you are not addressing the rudimental issues that face the people.
Yeah, you see. And that is the reason why some of you should have been educating those who do not know. But it's quite unfortunate that people just want to play mischief. I know some people know, but they pretend as if that is the reality on the ground. The reality is that COVID has disrupted everything in the world. If you go to UK, do you know that they also introduced a COVID levy? They introduced COVID levy UK in 2021.
But what have they done for the minimum wage for the people?
I don't know what they've done with the minimum wage. Well? But we have done so much to the extent that even the IMF yesterday actually praised government for our handling of the situation.
IMF disputes government economic performance data again. business
data.
analyst.
Which data?
Performance data. The one that you're referring to.
Data.
The one that you're referring to.
No, it's not true.
The one that you're referring
It can never no. It can never be true that IMF dispute our economic data. For what reason? Where did you get that from?
You cook figures.
We never. The NBC is known to be cooking figures to the extent that in 2001, the NBC actually made Ghana to incur 15 million euro for misreporting. The Kufuor government had to come and then pay that money. So
I don't know where you get these stories from. I don't know where you get these stories. You cook everything.
No problem.
Nothing is
right. We cook everything and you eat everything. Yeah. So Kwame. So Kwame, I mean, when you say that, things, the economy, things are not good and all those things, that is the reality. The reality is that COVID has disrupted everything. And it's not peculiar to Ghana. So I don't get, even before the COVID, we all saw how the economy performed. In 2017, 2018, 2019. How come all of a sudden things took a nosedive? It's as a result of some dramatic happenings. And that is the COVID. And even within the COVID, within our peers, we've been adjudged the best in terms of the management of the COVID. But you see, Ghanaians will not actually be grateful. The dexterity with which Nanado has governed this country, and especially with the COVID situation. I don't think that people should be talking about, the economy has not performed well and all those things. Look at even the economic growth. We have been able to grow 0.8% thereabout. Others grew negative. Our peers grew negative. We had a positive growth. So sometimes we should be grateful.
Now, I answer your question because I wanted to just appreciate what we have done to help resuscitate the demised, small, medium enterprises.
We have done a lot.
And whether or not that is playing a key role in the generality of our economic conversation, because it is clear to all of us that we are in economic labyrinth. I mean, we are in an economic.
Don't say we, the whole world.
Hold on.
So don't exclude.
I said, well, if I say we, you can.
So the world. Yeah, just the world.
Yeah, we.
That is the world.
We.
The world. We, the world. Inhabitants.
But you're looking at interventions which have been
proffered
to the people in the world.
Yes.
In ameliorating their challenges, whilst the country continues to go through that economic challenge that we're talking about. Yes. If you look at the United States of America, they've increased their minimum wage. If you look at the UK, for instance, they have given enough support to small, medium enterprises to be able to stand on their feet and build themselves like all the way up. Because they understand their economy, right? And they know that their economy stands on the stilts of, for instance, the middle class, let's say, right? So they know that everything is done within that space. We also do know that our economy is largely sustained by the middle class. Obviously, that backbone was broken by the collapse of the banks. That's a conversation we can have later. You will disagree with me, but that's okay. But what have we done in terms of cushioning, businesses, in terms of ensuring that the minimum wage for workers, for instance, are being increased in order to meet the changing times? Because we admit that Corona has broken everything. So how are we as a nation gleaning from that which have been done by other countries, also trying to propel our local businesses in order to stand firm and be able to
Thank you very much, Kwame. I'm happy you are just opposite. You are comparing Ghana to the US and UK. I'm happy about that. Because sometimes when I'm making a point and I bring UK and the US, Gabi say, no. Don't compare your Ghana to US and no problem. But I'm happy you have brought what the US, UK are doing.
I brought it because you mentioned it. And
no problem.
Like let's prove
first of all, they have done something for their citizens in order to ameliorate their suffering within the COVID environment. We have equally done so. We have even done more than the US and then the UK. In number one, if you go to the frontline workers, what we have done for them, at least 50% of their basic salary we have given to them as allowances. We in terms of the hospitality industry, we know that they are one of the hardest hit. The hotels, we have reduced their their tax by 30% waiver. The hospitality industry, restaurant, nightclub, and all those institutions or agencies. In terms of even the small and medium scale enterprises, you are well aware of the money that we give to them, about 600 million that we give to individuals, to help them booster their various.
I mean, through the NBSSI.
The NBSSI.
Yeah,
we have done all that. In terms of even the populace, we've been able to give free water for more than a year. The US have not been able to do that.
It's not free.
It's free.
No, it's not.
It's free.
It's not. It's not.
How is it?
How is it free? We're paying for it now. So
no.
How is it free?
You see, then it means that the free SHS is also not free.
Yeah, but free SHS has never been free.
So they mean that nothing has ever been free.
No, because if you say free water,
yes,
and then government comes back to say that, okay, well, we said free, but you're paying for it now.
Never.
So I mean,
you are not paying for
by introducing the corona levy. What was it?
That levy is not for it. It is to claw back all the expenses. Bear in mind that we have shortfall in our budget.
Yeah, the shortfall in our budget is as a result of the freebies.
Yes,
the freebies would be paid by government.
No. You see, and where do you see the government is you and I? Where do you think government will get money?
I am not talking about
but
in terms of the population. I'm talking about government in terms of leadership.
Your tax money that is being used by government.
Granted, I'm not.
So even if government go to borrow or take grants, it is your money. Any grant that is given to Ghana government, it's your money, not only your tax.
So I create the impression that you're giving people free money, so free water.
No, I mean, if government, then there's nothing free in the world.
But that's what you're saying. You are saying that
if that is
you're saying that
if that is the argument
you are making the argument. With the grace of respect, let's have a good show.
Yeah,
you are making the argument that government is you and I.
Yes.
Every money that government goes for belongs to the people of Ghana.
Exactly.
Every payment that is being made by government is made for and on behalf of the people of Ghana with the people's money.
Yes.
And I'm saying that when we were supplied free water, government was going to pay Ghana Water Company Limited.
Of course. Of course.
With which money? With the Ghanaian people's money.
With the Ghanaian
so why do you now create the impression that you were giving Ghanaian people freebies when in actual fact the Ghanaian people's money have been used to pay for that?
But then if that is your argument.
That's not my argument.
No.
I am only making my argument on the basis of that which you have said.
This argument has always been propounded by so many people. They believe that once the money is not coming from somebody's own pocket, it is not free. And I'm saying that there are certain people who would not have enjoyed the water if it were not given free at that particular point in time. But government knows ways and means of ensuring that they claw back whatever that has been expended. And that is easy.
What is your definition of free in this? I want to understand it because all these things that you're talking about, UK did it, but not in terms of free water and things like that.
No, that's free electricity.
There's water already.
I was giving
you decided to create a nomenclature out of it. I mean, free, yeah. Or the euphemism is okay. Free water, free electricity, and things like that. But it is clear from our conversation that it wasn't free after all, because then the good people of Ghana were paying for it even before. Now we've introduced taxes, which taxes are going to be used to cater to the expenses that we made when we were giving those freebies. So we are even paying twice.
So
what you are saying.
So you yourself, you believe that it was freebies. We gave freebies.
No, you are the one saying that.
No, but you believe there are freebies.
I'm not saying there are freebies. I'll let you come in.
Kwame, for the matter of whether or not something is free, that one is subject to debate. But I believe that if there is a poor person who is unable, whose income cannot afford a certain good, And then government decides that, let me use certain ways and means to ensure that the person get that thing at that particular time without even paying for it. Without even paying for it.
That's where we have an issue.
Without directly paying for it. You can call it free.
They say without
and
directly
that,
paying for it. But
I've been here and people like you and others say that, oh, Nkrumah brought Nkrumah time, there was free SHS during the Nkrumah time. Free education and all those things. And do you think that free during the Nkrumah period was because Nkrumah used his own pocket money to give to Ghanaians? So it means that even all those times that you people believe that Nkrumah gave free education to people was after all not free.
What was the source of funding for Nkrumah's project? The free SHS, for instance.
Of course, it was from the people. And I told you.
What is the source of funding? No, what is the source of funding for your free SHS now?
No.
Your source of funding for the free SHS now is from the Heritage Fund.
No. I mean, how?
How do you fund free SHS?
How can you tell me our source of funding is from Heritage Fund?
How do you fund free SHS?
No, you have asked a question, then I'll get the answer.
How do you fund it?
Yes.
Tell me.
So, Heritage Fund, nobody has touched the Heritage Fund.
So where do you get the money?
Listen. Indeed, the Heritage Fund has been intact even since the days of the NDC, where they invested it in the Euroclear investment. Listen, when we and the NDC was in power, you remember, I said they said they should use the Heritage Fund and all those things, but we disagree and all that. The Heritage Fund is we are funding free SHS from a number of areas,
including the Heritage Fund.
Oh no, Kwame, we are funding free SHS from the ABFA.
You are funding free SHS from the annual budget
funding amount from ABFA, from GNPC share, from other sources.
What?
From the consolidated fund. As for Heritage Fund,
Saka.
No. Do you know what Heritage Fund? Listen. Hold on. Don't say hold on. No,
where do we
don't mislead the public.
I am not misleading. I'm only
Heritage Fund is not meant.
How do we get money to put into the fund? Where do we get the money from to put in the fund?
To put into which?
Heritage Fund.
Heritage Fund is 9% of the oil revenue.
And you are telling me that.
Oh, listen.
What does GNPC do?
Oh, listen. Listen.
With these things.
Kwame, listen. If you don't know, let's tell you. So, listen. If you don't, you see.
Kwame. It's very bad for you to say that I don't know.
No, if you know, you won't tell us that.
I'm asking you.
It is funded from the Heritage Fund.
No, I'm asking.
The Heritage Fund is meant for future use, for future generation. You get a point.
Everybody knows what the Heritage Fund is.
So the Heritage Fund is not being touched.
Everybody knows what the Heritage Fund is meant for.
Yes.
What was the argument made by the MPP in respect of wanting to use the Heritage Fund to fund the free SHS? They said that who are the future leaders of this nation? So why can't we use that money? In fact, you, Saka, on this platform, advance this very argument that if we are saying what is Heritage Fund, because the Heritage Fund is meant for the future generation, and you, Saka, I remember you made this argument here in this studio. That if we are using the Heritage Fund to pay for free SHS, are we not also building the
I never made that argument.
You made it. I can get you the videos here.
I never made the argument.
I can get the videos here.
There was one, there are two people that espouse that we should use the Heritage Fund. And both school of thought were shot, from the very word go. Asibin Ketia suggested we should use the Heritage Fund. And then Osofo Mafo I was also actually suggested at one point or the other that we should use it. And the argument, there had been superior arguments, and nobody had used that Heritage Fund. And I'm saying that the free SHS, it is funded through the oil resources that we have. Even and the oil resources. And the oil resources, about 70% of it is from the ABFA.
Okay.
And then we have 21%, that is the stabilization fund. That one is only meant for the budget shortfall. So in a way, that one too, I'm sure part of it is also used. But apart from that, there are other sources that we generate money, because the consolidated fund is the overall fund that actually receive all monies of government. And part of the funding of SHS is coming from the consolidated fund. That's the reason why I've always said that it is from the oil resources. that is the ABA fee, and even sometimes from the stabilization fund, and other sources of funding, including the GNPC. But to say, GNPC gives scholarship and all those things, it's all a part of it. But to say that it's coming from Heritage Fund is untouched, is meant for future use, and nobody has touched that amount. But the argument, let's go back. The argument as to whether, something is free because taxpayers' money will be used to pay back. It's neither here nor there. Because after all, if that is the argument, then nothing on this earth has ever been free. Even if it is gift that is given to us, that gift could have been used to do something else other than the free SHS. You get what I mean? So for me here, this argument, you can never even finish it. It's never ending kind of argument.
All right. Thank you, Saka Salia, for your submission. Okay. I'll come back to it. I'm actually trying to research on the funding for free SHS, and of course we are in agreement because we are in agreement that ABFA is part of it, yes, and we're also in agreement that I think latter part of 2019 or so, the president, when he visited Krobo Girls, indicated that he was going to use proceeds from the natural resources to fund.
Yeah, the natural resources
to fund free SHS.
Yes.
He specifically spoke about gold and things like that. But because I know that the Heritage Fund, some percentage from the oil revenues is put in the Heritage Fund.
At 9%.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, if you say proceeds from the what's it called? Proceeds from the oil revenues, then the presumption here is that it's either you reduce the percentage that goes into the Heritage Fund in order to use a certain percentage to fund free SHS, or you create a percentage out of...
It is law.
Yeah.
It is law. So you cannot reduce the Heritage Fund.
Absolutely. So
the law has not been amended.
With MPP,
Oil Revenue Management Act.
With MPP, everything is possible.
The Oil Revenue Management Act.
With MPP, everything is possible. But let me come to you, Joseph. You've listened to Saka. What do you have to say, please? Go ahead.
First of all, I think Saka has misinformed a lot of people. He is not educating anybody.
Wow. He
is only telling a lot of lies. And I would like to make a couple of corrections. One of the things you said was that Asiedun Ketia said we should go into the Heritage Fund. It is wrong. It is Osafo Mafo. Please go back to your books and refresh your memory. It is Osafo Mafo who said early 2020s when this free education started, and even that they couldn't manage it, they didn't know what to do with themselves. When their children were sleeping on corridors, when also when they couldn't feed them and all of that. That was when Osafo Mafo said that what is wrong if they dip their hands into the Heritage Fund and take care of this free SHS. So please, it was not Asiedun Ketia. Maybe there's S in Osafo Mafo's name. So if you thought it was Asiedun Ketia, it was not Asiedun Ketia, it was Osafo Mafo. So please. I also believe that our monies from the oil fields is what has supported the free education to this day. Our manager of the country, which happens to be John Dramani Mahama, managed the economy so well that we had lots of surpluses when it comes to the management of our Jubilee fields and all of that. Okay, left enough money for the MPP government, and because they saw they saw money in the oil fund. They thought there's so much money they could run this free education without help. They started dipping their hands into the oil money, and that is what is supposed to be, that is what...
I'll let you read it. No, I will let you read it. Don't worry.
Can you be a bit disciplined? NPP people are not disciplined. Can you be a little more disciplined?
Saka, I'll let you let Mami for advice. Mami, please proceed.
Yeah, so I also believe that you know, and NDC government also had this what do you call it, ESLA fund. Yeah. We left so much money in that fund for them as well. We also had the Energy Sector Levy Act that also left money for them. You know, within 6 to 8 months of they coming into government, they have squandered all of these monies, and then the economy started crumbling. And the economy started crumbling even before COVID set in. Luckily for them, COVID came with some funds. What happened with the COVID funds? They were supposed to use these COVID funds to support our health systems, okay? Buy all these, these disposable wares, how do you call them?
The
EPPs? EPAs, right? PPEs. We bought all these PPEs for the, we're supposed to buy the PPEs for the, you know, health sector, yeah. And also encourage the frontline staff. As of last week, was it last week or so, when nurses, the nurses celebrated something, and they were asking the health minister to give them their back pay and all the allowances that they promised them. They promised them all these COVID allowances, the frontline people, and to date, they haven't given them. I remember the health minister saying that as soon as possible, they will pay the money. And people listen to news. People are aware of this, that the health ministry or this government, as at now, have not paid these frontline workers anything as far as their allowances are concerned. I know because I have an auntie who is a nurse, who is a frontline person, and they are so disappointed in this government, you have no idea. Because the nurses, the doctors, the health workers, they are so disappointed in this Akufo-Addo government. It is no joke. Okay. So please, do not sit here and throw dust in our eyes. Do not sit here and propound theories you do not understand, or theories that do not exist. So I just want to remind you that when I'm doing my submissions, I like to relate it to our regular lifestyle, the regular person's lifestyle. You sit here and talk about single digit whatever. Meanwhile, you haven't been able to do any single digit inflation.
Are you sure?
It does not impact in our pockets. It does not impact in our lifestyle. Because this finance minister keeps cooking the books. This is the only government that when they start talking about figures, the figures in the budgets are different from the figures that the IMF has, from the figures that the Ministry of Health itself have. You know, when you are doing your research, the figures just don't tally. Everything is a sham. Everything is cooked. Everything is deceptive. Unfortunately, we thought that Akufo-Addo, being a matured statesman, being an elder man, will not encourage a government of lies and deceit. But unfortunately, that is the very thing that you practice as a government. That is the very thing that you practice. There is no truth in anything that you do. Galamsey, we'll stop Galamsey. Vigilantism, come and let's sign a pact. What happened? What happened, Salah? What happened?
Which is
Salia.
Salia. What happened?
Galamsey defeated them.
You know, it just tells you that the kind of government, they all talk in front of the cameras. You know, they like to speak all these big English, lie to the citizens in front of cameras, but in realities, nothing happens. Nothing happens. So I just want to remind Ghanaians that the economy that President John Dramani Mahama left us as Ghanaians was robust, was strong. We had surpluses, we had money for you to even socket a situation like COVID. What happened to the money? You bought houses abroad, you lived large, and the regular Ghanaian has no job. The very little job that they can feed themselves off, you came and what? Took it from them. What happened to the banking sector? You came and dissolved all of it, just so that only Data Bank will be the bank that survives.
Data Bank is not a regular bank.
Whatever it is, it's a financial institution. So Data Bank, do you know that they have other banks outside of Ghana? Do you know that? That they destroy other people so they will stand tall. Are you aware of that?
Well,
you know, so I mean, all I want to say is that I want to go back to the road sector, okay? First of all, there is a foundation called Kwame Foundation by a young lady called Mami K. Stevens. She goes around doing this blood donation thing, and I want to give her thumbs up because she has been one of the few people that keeps supplying blood to Rich Hospital, to Kolebu, and all of those places. So if anybody comes across Kwame Foundation by Mami K. Stevens, please support her. We also need a serious drive from, such, outfits. We need to make sure that our young students from SHS and all of those places, if they are well fed, they should also be encouraged to give blood and all of that. In the last few years or in the last few months, we've had too many issues of road accidents and all sorts of mishaps. And some of these things also, when they go into the hospital, actually strains the hospital. So what happens is that you have all these cases competing with all these maternal issues that we're talking about. Too many people need blood at the same time.
Right.
And it is because we do not have proper roads.
Right.
So too many car accidents. We don't have properly engineered roads. John Dramani Mahama came. I was trying to... John Dramani Mahama. Isn't that a sweet name in your ear? Came and was trying to, develop our road sector. You people came and say, year of road. What happened? You ply our roads and you still have huge manholes in the roads. The engineering is never correct because they're always cutting the budget and deceiving people. Whatever budget we have to use in constructing our roads and develop some of these roads, what happens to it? The consolidated fund and all of that. What happens to it? They come and squander it. Sometimes I ask myself that if just a few people have all the money and the rest of us do not have any money, not only do we go after them, they cannot even enjoy spending the money, for heaven's sakes, because they know that if they go out there, they'll be chased. Okay. So we are begging you. We want. Right. Are you the moderator?
No, because you are not just ending.
No, are you the moderator?
No, but I think I give you more time. I give you more time.
You get more time.
Okay, Mami, please proceed. Go ahead.
Okay, you go ahead.
When you're done, then I'll just.
Yes, please. I just want to end on the year of votes. We want, and of course, because of the bad management of the economy, with all these galamsey things, giving them guns and all of that, we have so many robbery issues also in the country.
True.
And some of these, and when these robberies, they attack buses and all of that on the high road. And some of these buses, in trying to dodge some of these armed robbers, also run into serious accidents and all of that. All I'm saying is that managing the economy is not just about managing one particular thing. You must make sure that you get all the things right so that it trickles down. And before you know, you're gradually putting a system in place. But here is the case where MPP has failed right from the beginning, up an issue. They didn't get galamsey right. They didn't get the health system right. They didn't get education right. They have cheated on the financial industry. Nothing is right. Even COVID,
right,
that you applaud yourself of, managing properly. You have failed as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
You have failed woefully because you sit there and make promises. Look, COVID, number one, they don't even record the proper figures to start with. The proper figures were not even recorded. God has just been good to Ghanaians because of our beautiful hot sun and because of some of our I believe in our herbal concoctions. People have tried to treat themselves through, with all these herbal concoctions. You understand?
Amen, amen.
And because of these, some Ghanaians are able to treat themselves and make sure that, they survive, they live.
Amen.
So if Ghanaians are living and Ghanaians are surviving, it's not because of MPP. Yeah. It is because God has given us something special.
Right. So I'm going for this quick commercial break. When I come back, we'll hear from Saka again, and then we'll move on to discuss the other issues. But piacghana.org has an article on its website dated the 15th of September 2017, and I think it was written by Steve Manteo. Diversity funding sources for free SHS. Manteo, a policy analyst at the Integrated Social Development Center, ISODEC, Dr. Steve Manteo, is calling for the diversification of the source of funding for the government's free senior high school policy. According to him, depending solely on the country's oil proceeds to finance the program is unsustainable in the medium to long term. The source of funding for the flagship education program has long been a matter of controversy, even among top government officials. It will be recalled that there was a public uproar when the senior minister, Yaosafo Mafu, told City News in an interview that the government was going to finance the program with a heritage fund, a fund into which a fraction of the petroleum proceeds is deposited for future generations. His comment was later countered by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, who in his delivery of the 2017 annual budget statement in Parliament said the program will be financed from the annual budget funding amount and other domestic revenue sources. Exactly. President Akufo-Addo, at the launch of the program at the West African Senior Secondary School in Accra, said the program will be financed from revenues from Ghana's oil and mineral proceeds. Dr. Manteo told City Show that the cost of free SHS program could be entirely sourced from oil proceeds, but that will negatively affect other critical governmental areas. You cannot spend everything on education alone, but the law allows you to spend substantially up to even 80% and use the 20% to do things in other sectors. Reason why I'm still very sure that the Heritage Fund is being used is still known to me and known to me alone, and I still stand by that position.
You alone.
So let me go for this quick commercial break. When I come back, we'll move on to discuss some other very important issues. Quick break.
Every day he has a drink filled with malt. Every day he has a drink filled with malt and milk. Every day he has a drink filled with malt, milk, and cocoa. Every day he needs the nutritious goodness of Milo. Milo, the energy to go further. This advert is FDA approved. Every day he looks after his brother and chases a bus. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, and learns new things. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, learns new things, and gets back home. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, learns new things, gets back home, and helps his mom. Phew. That's why every day he needs his cup of Milo filled with the nutritious goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa. Milo, the energy to go further.
From Nestle.
This advert is
Right, we're back. Thank you very much for staying tuned into Pan-African Television. You're still watching the Newspaper Review segment here on the show, and we're streaming live on our Facebook page, YouTube page as well. You can check us out on those platforms, and be sure to leave us your messages. I'm waiting for all your messages. Today I'll try and read as many as I can. And also, those of you who are on my Twitter handle, I've seen that people have started tweeting at me at Kwame Owusu Danso. I will read some of the messages that you've sent to me. If you're on my Facebook page, just be kind enough to send me a message. I have two pages. I have, like my proper fan page, and then I have my friends page. So you can send them to any of them, and then I'll try and read. Saka, you want to respond to a few things?
Yeah.
But before then, I just want to introduce the next topic.
No,
so
you let me finish before you.
No, I want to introduce that, then you touch on that, so that because of time.
Okay. No.
Okay.
No.
So Justice Apau laments rising corruption cases in Ghana. Okay. I just want you to. Okay. So once you finish addressing this one, then you zoom into that one as well.
Problem.
Please proceed.
Yeah. Mama sat here and said, "Oh, I've been lying. I've been propounding my own things, and all the things that I said is lie, and MPP people are liars and all that." And when I said there were two sources, two school of thought that proposed that we should use the Heritage Fund, I mentioned Osofo Mafo, and I mentioned Asiedin Ketia. Yeah. Everybody.
Oh, he mentioned
yes.
Yeah.
Mami first said no, and I want you to repeat that Asiedin Ketia never mentioned it anyway. You repeat it before I launch onto your lies.
Let me tell you that what you are going to read about Asiedin Ketia, okay?
Yes.
Are all
lies.
Concocted.
Okay, no problem.
Scripts.
So let me read the concocted
script on
script.
the website about him.
Let me read
it's not
it. So let me read the concocted script.
These are all concocted.
Yeah,
scripts.
everybody knows. You see, this is the NDC. When they are cut pants down, they won't humbly apologize. On this May 2nd, 2014, go to City FM online.
2014.
Yeah, May 2nd, 2014.
This was way before the implementation of free SHS.
Yes. So I was telling you, no, you see, listen.
Wait.
I'm talking about the Heritage Fund. That two people that suggested that we should spend it.
On free SHS?
No.
On what?
No, just
On
spend
what?
the Heritage
On
Fund.
what?
Because the Heritage Fund is meant for
On
people.
what?
Oh, listen. Listen.
Alright,
Oh, listen.
what?
Oh, you listen.
I like your line of
you see,
argument.
no,
You just wanted to justify.
No.
You wanted to create the impression that, well, we're not the only persons who have bad nuts in our party.
Oh, I mean, I'm not talking
There's
about
another bad nut.
No.
2014 has no bearing on
was is she? No, then we didn't get the argument.
Okay, then let me get the argument.
Oh, is she? Mami, when you were talking, I kept quiet.
Yes, let me get your.
You said that we are not disciplined. So I thought you, the disciplinary one.
Very disciplined.
So I was talking about the Heritage Fund, and I said the Heritage Fund is not meant to be spent. It's a fund that is meant for future. And I said in history, there are only two people that espouse that we should spend the Heritage Fund. And one was Osofo Mafo on the free SHS. And Asiedin Ketia, when the economy was, in nosedive. Asiedin Ketia on the 2nd of May 2014. Actually, let me read it on my City of FM Online. The General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedin Ketia, is suggesting that government must consider using the oil revenue reserve for future generation in the Heritage Fund to solve all Ghana's problem now. He was of the opinion that government can ease the economic plight of Ghanaians if we begin utilizing the fund. In this current situation, I'm quoting from Asiedin Ketia, in this current situation we find ourselves. It doesn't make any economic sense to be keeping money called Heritage Fund, he explained. The Heritage Fund is being kept to ensure intergenerational equity and to maintain the value of oil capital since the oil resources are non-renewable. Mr. Asiedin Ketia's suggestions follow a number of measures government has put in place to achieve economic stability and save the depreciation city. So this is what he was, and I told you, when he said all these things, he never, see the light of day. People came out and said that, no, we are not going to do that and all that. And I remember even people like Kesili Hayford. He said that Asiedin Ketia should stop dreaming about Heritage Fund and all that. I mean, there were so many plaques about that. Then Mami also said that in this regard, let me reiterate the fact that Heritage Fund is not part of the funding sources of the free SHS. That is categorically clear, unless maybe you know your secret source. Let me also say, as Mami said, John Dramani Mahama left plenty money. There was money there when he was going, the economy was. Let me tell you, John Dramani Mahama dissipated this country Okay, let me not use the word
It's not true. When you
as
go there,
no,
I will not forgive you.
No problem. I don't want your forgiveness.
It's not true.
I don't want your forgiveness.
It's not true.
And what is not true?
We stabilized this country before you came in.
No problem. So let me talk about the stability.
We gave you money.
You gave us money.
Let's move on. Let's move on and discuss the corruption.
It is a fund, not money. You see, let me tell you. We all know we are.
Kwame, I'll let you play a tape, okay?
Oh, please.
3 minutes.
Why are you so indisciplined?
To John Dramani Mahama.
Why are you so indisciplined?
He was being interviewed by Kwesi Pratt.
And we have that.
Yes, so please play that tape for
me. We have the privilege of.
So please play that tape.
So what you mean? What John Dramani Mahama said? I should take that.
They funded most of the budget from revenues generated inwardly and not from external sources.
So what is the point?
The point is that we were able to generate money inwardly.
So are you saying that we are not generating money?
We borrowed.
Do you know how much John Dramani Mahama borrowed?
Please, do you know how much Ken Oforata has borrowed? $9 billion.
You have a problem. So no problem.
$9 billion.
Kwame.
That's just from bonds.
It is on record that when they were going out of power, the economy was in complete shambles. They had mortgaged this economy to the IMF.
It is not true.
Indeed, we were under the apple string of the IMF.
It is not true.
They were dictating to us. They were dictating to us what to do.
Yes, but all I'm saying is that...
Let him make it. I think that this is not true. You are creating an impression that it wasn't true that we're under IMF. We're under IMF. That's a fact.
And they're also under IMF.
No, but how are we under IMF?
No, but that's a fact.
No, how are we under IMF?
Because advanced argument.
We're not under IMF.
They are going to take us back to HIPIC.
Yeah, but
yeah. No, we're not under IMF.
They're going to take us back.
You will get an opportunity to also make an argument.
But you see, as he proceeds,
so
you realize that there are so many lies in everything
so you make your notes,
and I wouldn't want him to lie to decent listening, discerning Ghanaians listening to this.
But I think that the discerning Ghanaians would also like for each person to have their turn. So, Saka, let's see.
Mommy, they told her that don't allow him. So that's exactly why she's doing. So no problem. But Kwame, let's go to the second topic because we have said this thing now because I don't know what else we need to say.
Rising corruption cases in Ghana, worrying.
Well, I mean, did he give some specific ones?
Justice of the Supreme Court and former sole commissioner for Judgment Depth Commission, Yao Apple, has said, despite several attempts by various governments to curb corruption, the canker only gets worse by the day. In his address at the Leadership Dialogue organized by the Center for Social Justice, he outlined 11 recommendations which included Parliament intensifying its role in the operation of the consolidated funds as a measure in the fight against corruption. He further urged the media to hold all duty bearers accountable without fear and favor, but advised it is done constructively. He also suggested that all political party manifestos must be geared towards the attainment of national goals set by the National Development Planning Commission. Another major recommendation is the need for a political party funding bill. It is regrettable, quote, to say that though we have been working as a country to uproot corruption, or in a better word, to minimize it gets worse by the day. The audited public accounts of Ghanaian technical universities for the period ending 31st December found financial irregularities amounting to 57 million in 2019. 3 years time, the figure jumped from 57 to a whopping 170 million Ghana cedis. Clearly, that's a general concern he's raised.
Yeah, I mean,
how do we deal with it?
Well, I mean, like when Kufuor said that corruption started from Adam, people created the impression as if Kufuor was the one inventing that statement. But that is a fact. Corruption started long ago, and then people will come and do their bit to reduce it. Even the countries that have even lowest of perception corruption index still have corruption. Mm-hmm. So one can do his best to reduce it to the barest minimum. But to get complete elimination will always be a problem. And perception, plays everything. Now, I mean, cannot dispute the fact that there is no corruption in the system. By evidence of what he said, the public university spending on the public accounts committee and all that. I mean, those things are there. You see people, there are different, there's a difference between financial impropriety and corruption. So when somebody jumped to the conclusion that corruption has increased, I would have expected to see corruption cases being increased, people who have been convicted of corruption offenses being increased, the perception of corruption itself being increased, malfeasance increase, financial financial inappropriateness, also being increased and all that.
Right.
But he just talked about only public university within the public accounts committee that is done by the Auditor General Department. We can take it as it is, but nobody can say that there is no corruption in the system. Like I said, that you cannot eliminate corruption and all that. But you see, the effort of any government will tell us whether or not you are fighting the corruption. Number one, I have always said that the people who fight corruption themselves should be incorruptible, because you cannot be corrupt and fight corruption. And that is the reason why every country that is serious to fight corruption must go in for somebody with that clout, somebody whose demeanor and everything shows that he abhors corruption to the latter. And we can find that easily in Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I mean, his pedigree as anti-graft individual.
Anti-what?
Anti-graft person is known.
Anti-corruption.
Anti-corruption crusader is known. And therefore, that is the first step in fighting corruption. You don't go in for laissez-faire type of somebody who fights corruption. Somebody who will be laughing and then try to, no. You must, as it were, your demeanor must be very frightening to be committers of corrupt acts. And he epitomizes that. Secondly, institutions must lead the fight of the fight against corruption. Institutions, and if you look at the current state, we've been able to strengthen. Look, it started with Kufuor regime in terms of the real actual fight against corruption, when we had to bring the Public Procurement Act, the Public Administrative Act, the Anti-Money Laundering Act, and all those things. All those acts were passed during the period of Kufuor, especially in 2003. And other governments come and enhance on it. If you look at what happened under the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I told you that the number one, you see, if you go to other jurisdictions, they are able to fight corruption because of institutions. For instance, we took over power, and all the institutions, the anti-graft institutions, that is the court, the Shraj, we talk of the Auditor General Department, we talk of all those institutions. All of them were bereft of their budgetary allocations. Demevlo himself had alluded to the fact that it is only under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government that all the money that they actually needed, they got. They increased their budgetary allocations to a level that they themselves, it was unbelievable to them. And that is, you see, and that is the second step in fighting corruption. You have to resource all the institutions that fight corruption. And Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has been able to do that. We created the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Although it came with its own problems, with the personalities that were put there, we all know Matenamidu and all the things that he can do or not do. Because when he was Attorney General under the Mills regime, it was a matter of déjà vu. The same thing that he is doing under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he replicated it in the past. What he did in the past, he replicated it now. I remember even Professor Mills' period, he said that he was going to beat Professor Mills. They have to sack him and all those. I mean, it's another debate that we can talk another time. But I'm saying that one cannot take the office of the special prosecutor. The intention for the creation of the office of the special prosecutor in itself tells you that we as a nation were very serious in fighting corruption. And indeed, even the persona of Martin Amide himself, because we knew that this is a personality that can turn his gun against even the government. But Danso Akufo-Addo said that at that material moment, he was a person cast in the mold of, the office that he was creating. And therefore, whether or not he would turn against the government is neither here nor there. Let's try him. And we did actually tried him. When he said that there was no money for his office, it was proving that all that he was saying was just
in conclusion, Saka.
Blue medal. But you see, in conclusion, I will say that Justice Paul, I respect him so much. You remember he was the sole commissioner under John Dramani Mahama in the case of the Wyoming commission and all that. So we know what he can do. A judgment debt commission, and we know what he can do. We know that he has insight into certain things, and also he was one of the 7 justices of the Supreme Court that actually ruled in the just ended election petition and all that. So he is somebody that I respect so much, and when he talks, we have to take it serious.
All right.
We know that the government is doing its bit. The government has done so well in the fight against corruption, but the opposition, as well as the detractors, definitely will come out and say certain things. Just mention some allegations that are unverifiable, that have no legs to stand, and stick to it as if it was a reality. But if you take each one of those allegations and you interrogate it, you come to the conclusion that it is just nothing but one of those allegations that are thrown out just to make the government look bad.
Thank you. Good morning, Kwame, and Pan African Television. Good morning, Kwame. Pan African TV is the best station in Ghana and beyond. You, the host, is our mouthpiece. It's, however, sad that our views and concerns expressed are not given time to be read. I texted you yesterday on a very sensitive issue with the prisons. Again, you failed to read. Oh, Vida, I apologize. Forgive me, Vida. If Saka is claiming UK are levying for COVID, let it be known to him that minimum wage has been increased in the UK. That's what I was referring to as well. He should stop throwing that in our eyes. If he wants to compare Ghana to the UK, then everything not selected once. Tell your superiors to fix the country and stop defending the indefensible. When falsehood becomes a norm or an institution, truth looks like rebellion. Ni Afum from Ajumakon. Tell Saka that he is lying. Okay. My name is Prosper from Nigeria. Nana is like Buhari. Hey.
They are both males. So what is he talking about?
Please, Saka, please tell Saka that the economic growth registered in 2017 and 2018 were the result of the lag effect of the NDC policies. And the MPP policy started manifesting in 2019. Whether money was left by John Dramani Mahama or not, the MPP said we are sitting on money. Saka should stop the blame game and tell his government to bring the money out for us to fix it. Francis Batagwana Kuti from Navrongo. Good morning to you, Kwame. Saka, look at Saliao. Today you are taking ideas from Asidun Ketia. Hey!
Are we taking ideas from him? We are throwing his ideas away.
Good morning, Kwame. Please tell Saka that the free water he is talking about, he's talking of whether the government has paid the water companies. In my district, government did not pay the water company. Today, the small town water system doesn't have money to buy electricity credit to supply water for the people in Garu district. How the people in Garu clap their hands for this government for the free water. Mohammed Awinkela. Not all that glitters is gold sometimes. Good morning to you, Kwame. Please tell Saka Salia that we Ghanaians are tired of the MPP. Mere widow dress and fight against corruption. Fix the country, save the lives, kick out MPP. Saka, I love you so much as a brother. Can you please stop this hard work or pretense and lying? Even if you are doing this to paint yourself a picture of a hard-working communicator for... Please, you are rather disgracing yourself.
Kwame, why are you reading such a thing?
I am Pages Chamsaldani from Cape Verde.
It doesn't make sense. Why are you reading it?
Okay, tell Saka to keep quiet in the studio. Osman in Tamale says regards to ABF Husseini. What does it make to resource institutions and not give them the free hands to work? Saka is misleading the viewers. Whatever you politicians are doing to the ordinary Ghanaian, remember that God is watching. Do you think they care about your God? Kwame Bengazi in Pokwase says Ghana is at the breaking point due to too much corruption under the MPP government. Good morning to you, Keori, and your team. Why is it that all of a sudden the impression is created that until free SHS our children were not schooling? Such an illusion. We did not mean it when we asked our people to be citizens and not spectators. Albert from Addington. Saka is not arguing with the facts, just telling an answer story. My name is Ghana is Bleeding from Akachi in the Volta region. Good morning, Pan African TV. I want to tell Saka in the studio that NAPCO trainees are bleeding. What sin have we committed? From Nanatechi in Central Region. Good morning to you, KOD, and your admirable panelists. I started monitoring Akufo-Addo since 1995, and he made my thoughts came true. I knew Akufo-Addo was not going to be a democratic leader, but an autocratic leader for Ghana. Fuzan Junu. JJJ in Ho says, this is Africans' condition. Only few Africans have broken the bottle and have replaced their brains with... okay. This one says, good morning to you, KOD. I am Sak Nelson from RAF base in Gibraltar, Southern Europe. I believe Ghana is falling apart. The beautiful, you see, I'm trying to read messages and you're also calling. The beautiful Greater Accra region is folding. Whatever happened to the drones? Why don't the drones donate blood? I find it difficult to understand when I hear people asking Akufo-Addo to fix the country. Akufo-Addo can't get himself out of a paper bag, let alone get the people out of the hardships. Baumia is another one. Akufo-Addo has no clue. Starch shortage because of cassava shortage. What happened to planting for food and jobs? The man talked about single-digit inflation, that is 11%. Sad. Solution. Public need to chase the government out of the country, physically, spiritually, psychologically. I am Bismarck. Saka must know that blood donation has correlation with standard of living and economic stability of the citizens. No poor, hungry person will be willing to donate blood to any hospital because one must eat good food to replenish the donated blood. MPP, fix the living standard of Ghanaians. The problem in Ghana is that we need to be fixed. What needs to be fixed are the institutions that Akufo-Addo and his government have compromised and cannot use their own conscience to work. You mentioned the judiciary, police, EC, and so on and so forth. Steven from Kwabenya, that's your opinion. Down below Owusu, there's no candor in the so-called fight against Galamsey. And the animal farm tactics of fighting the menace is irritating. How can the media allege that the task force has burnt machines belonging to Kejemfua, the MPP national women's organizer, only for her to turn around and issue a statement reminding the government of possible judgment debt? The government wants to make money in all aspects at the expense of the state. Amagana clearly deserves better. In regards to the Nama Brown Kluche, Apewusika, ABU send them. Thank you. All right. Mukaila Jonas Adia inside Kerry. Sometimes irk me a lot when I hear the good people of this country calling for fix the country and crying for hikes on fuel prices during Mohammed's era, we had a funny term called automatic price adjustment formula. That's where a rise in world crude market attracts a corresponding rise in fuel. But in the entire HS of the NDC, they never reduce fuel prices, even if the price fell. Now, these same people, I beg your pardon, are crying for us to fix the country. That's the point I have a problem. I think your argument is valid, but if you say these same people, you are creating the impression that the people who are asking for the country to be fixed are NPP people. It's wrong for you to even imagine that. NDC people. It's wrong for you to even imagine that. And I think that we should move away from that perception that, oh, everything, if somebody opposes something, the person is NDC. If somebody supports something, the person is NPP. Once either of them is in power. So I don't think it's right. But please, let's hear from you whilst we go home.
Thank you very much, Kwame. First of all, I think that corruption emanates from the top to the bottom.
Right.
Okay? And I can confidently say that this is one regime that when it comes to corruption, right from the Jubilee House, okay, to the ministries, to the security man, are also corrupt. You remember that the scandal at the Jubilee House? Even before I go there, you know, I had somebody text me saying that the 9 billion, I said I should clarify it. I would like to say that from 1957, since we gained independence, to 2016, when we left government, okay, the whole, that's in Ghana, we had borrowed $122 billion, okay, from only in MPP's time, okay, from 17 to date, we have borrowed about 192 billion.
Yes, that's
okay. So. That's correct. I said the 9 billion because of bonds, just bonds, that the finance minister has borrowed. You know, so I just wanted that to be corrected.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
So, Salah, that is how much we have borrowed.
Which Salah cried?
Salah. I've missed you. I've missed you a long time. So you know. So so just to also, like I said, I started with my submission. When it comes to corruption, right from the head to the tail, is corrupt as far as this regime is concerned. You remember the scandal in the Jubilee House, where before when it comes to the executive secretary, right, and all the other people close to the president.
So what did he do?
They take monies. You know, they take monies. You remember that story, Kwame?
You mean the two deputy chiefs of staff?
The two deputy chiefs of staff.
They take money, 200,000.
Yes.
That the people claim they took.
Exactly.
No, which 200,000? No.
50,000. Sorry.
For where?
Oh, the allegation against the two deputy chiefs. Former deputy chiefs of staff. That they were the gatekeepers for Akufo-Addo. That if you needed to see the Akufo-Addo, you have to pay them.
No,
why are you pretending you don't remember this?
That wasn't the allegation.
Apart from that, you also remember the when you know the events organized by the Minister of Trade at the time.
The one.
Yes.
Which one is that?
The one there by the Deputy Minister for Trade. The one who stole the cash for seat. So to sit close to the president, what do you do? You have to pay for it. You know, it was not a lie. It was not a lie.
There was investigation.
It's so normal to you that everything is a lie. It is not a lie.
It was investigated.
Apart from that,
live television.
We've had reports from the Netherlands embassy, the U.S. embassy.
You mean the Australian visa scandal?
No, complaining that doing business in Ghana has become so expensive under this regime, because they've had people come to Ghana to come and come and invest in Ghana, start businesses, and the corruption, I mean, it just puts them off, because they are used to good governance. They are not used to this corruption business. You understand me? I mean, we have the Ameri deal, you know, where the minister was sacked and all of that. As for corruption, and we have even Charles Bisu, right? I mean, when Anas exhibited the, what do you call it?
Is he related to Anas Bisu?
No. Their Bisus are spelled differently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're related.
I see.
When we had, what do you call it? When we saw a video of him, okay, taking money from somebody.
And the money was meant for what?
It was brought for his pocket. What else was it meant for?
So if I'm giving you money right now,
no,
it's corruption.
It was about Galamsey. This man was in charge of Galamsey. So instead of regularizing it, he takes money and looks
the other way. He was not the one in charge of Galamsey.
He takes money and looks the other way.
He was not in charge of Galamsey.
So what was, to tell me, what was it? Anas uncovered a lot of mishaps, a lot of corruption. I mean, look at Kwesi Nyantechi. What would you say about that? When it comes to Anas, Kwesi Nyantechi, I mean, telling them that he has the president in his pocket. What was that supposed to
I
mean?
also say, I have you in my pocket.
What have you given me? Saka Salia. If you have given me some
it could be a lie.
money,
Somebody can just say somewhere a lie.
No, it's not a lie. We saw the tapes. We saw the tapes.
What I'm saying is that I can lie that you are in my pocket, even though you are not.
So
in my
when I
pocket.
see the tapes, when I see the tapes, that one is also.
So you saw the tape, and Nanado was in his pocket.
We saw the Nyantechi issue was such a blow to the sports industry,
How can you say you saw
to
the
the
tape?
football community.
You saw the tape, Nanado was in his
Because
pocket.
ever since the Kwesi Nyantechi, number 12,
Yeah.
ever since the Kwesi Nyantechi issue happened, football has never been the same in Ghana. And that is because, you know, all this corruption was revealed around, you know, by this analysis, what do you call it? Expose. And do you remember that in 2016, when Nanado was campaigning, he said he will be transparent. He's going to use the ANA system, okay, to curb corruption. What happened? 2017, when ANA started his expose series,
he ran away.
He had to run away because, you know, Nanado, what do you call it? What do you call it? Kennedy. Oh, the Oman FM guy. What's his name?
Kennedy Japan.
Japan, you know, trying to malign him, threatening him, and even ended up killing one of his boys.
Hey, who killed him?
Oh, what do you call it? Ahmed.
So who killed him?
Kennedy Japan.
That was exposed danger.
No.
Listen. Kennedy Japan sat on a TV station saying that Ahmed Swali, okay, is somebody he will punish.
He will punish.
So if
are you sure?
I am so sure about it.
That is somebody he will punish.
I said on air that if anybody, okay, could grab this guy, they should slap him. They should.
He did not say that. He said that if he come at the premises of the
they should sack him. They should beat him.
No,
They should beat him.
He made the Swali.
So he was not saying that they should beat him anywhere that he is.
But what did they do? Didn't they go and shoot him for man? Didn't they go and shoot him?
But how do you know that was because of the statement?
Ahmed Swali died.
How do you know that it was because of the statement?
Therefore, we do not know that yet.
We do not know that. I know we do not know.
No, but you should be very careful.
But I'm saying
You see,
that.
the way you are doing, Canada Japan can sue you.
Sue her for it.
Kennedy Japan sat on TV.
But it's a fun that he sat on TV and did.
Nobody said it.
Yeah,
He
so
said that, okay, anybody who caught that guy around his premises to slap him, to beat him up, and he would give the person money.
Yes.
Where is his station? Around Medina, right? And where is Ahmed Swali's home? Around Medina.
yes.
Okay.
So the presumption is that.
So the presumption is that they saw him in Medina
No, we don't talk
going
about
home,
presumption.
and somebody shot him. You see, this MPP government has just not been truthful to itself and to Ghanaians to start with. These things happen. We keep saying we'll investigate, and the investigation never comes, never happens. Akufo-Addo clears, you know, he became a clearinghouse. Whatever is reported as corruption, he comes and clears it. Doesn't he do that? Because before you, I mean, the examples are many. The examples are countless. So, Saka Salia, my dear, let Ghanaians know that first of all, this president, okay, President Nana Addo, President Akufo-Addo, okay, and his Vice President Alhaji Bawumia have disappointed Ghanaians because when it comes to corruption, they sit on it.
Right.
When it comes to corruption, they have every issue, every corruption case, they are underneath.
Right.
What happened to Martin?
Let me see, Ben Kaiser Ahmed
What happened to him?
He was
nothing happened to him.
He left
First
himself.
of all, you said you were going
He
to
left as usual.
No.
Has he ever finished an office before?
So you know, he started investigating and then complained that he didn't have a budget for his job.
It was a lie.
Okay. Then they said they had given him a budget. Then he said people were not allowing him to do his job.
Which is
then,
a lie.
When this heritage thing came, when he started talking about it, wrote how many pages of
You mean heritage?
what do you call it? The fund that
Ajapa.
Ejapa. The Ejapa, you know, when he criticized the Ejapa, what happened to him?
Well, he was attacked and then frustrated and he had to exit.
He was threatened.
Nobody attacked him.
He had to exit.
Yeah.
You know, all I'm saying is that when it comes to corruption issues, unfortunately, this MPP government cannot raise its head up. The maritime guy.
Yeah.
You remember that incident?
You mean Kwame Owusu?
Yes. What did he say? What did he do? The journalists even accused him of 11 air conditions in his 2-bedroom apartment. He said 11 was too small. It was 30.
It's a lie. The rooms were 5. They were even 7 times.
He had what do you call it?
The contract?
No, organized parties in his hotels and stuff. When it comes to MPP, unfortunately, they haven't done well curbing this corruption issue.
Right.
And if you remember, the integrity index that came out, okay, NDC's West index is Akufo-Addo's best index.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kwame, for Sechi Edu. Now, let me say a special happy birthday going out to you, Miss Hilda Anthony. Miss Hilda Anthony.
She's the one?
Yes, today's your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Hilda Anthony. I trust you're doing very well. Have a blast. Make sure that when you decide to do your birthday party, Charlie, you go invite all of us from Pan-African Television. So from all of us from Pan-African Television, we wish you a happy birthday. God's guidance.
Saka seems to be very interested. And, is she the one? Is she your friend?
She's our friend at Pan-African TV. So Saka, why? You want to meet her? Thank you, Saka Zalia. Thank you, Kwame. Thank you for watching today's edition of Good Morning Africa. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.